Welcome back to the Riches Podcast. Today we are talking about Independence Day. We're taking a little break from our Nolan series to celebrate 4th of July with possibly the most American movie ever made.
American movie, and yet also too, like, it's also too, you got like all these, you get like the one scene where like you see all the nations coming together to take down the aliens, but of course Bill Pullman delivering the fucking banger of all speeches in it. But
it's so good. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not surrender without a fight.
You know way too much. You already know way too fucking much.
We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day.
Yeah,
and everyone cheers.
It goes hype. Then, of course, you get the lame version when they had Brexit of the one guy, Nigel Farage, saying the same exact line, everyone cheering. It's like the lamest version of it. It's like a bunch of British people like, tally-ho! Like, like when they did the... Yeah, so Independence Day came out in the year 1996.
Why? What happened to make this movie happen?
Well, back in the 70s, so we're going to go back about 20 years.
Okay.
There was a movie that got released in the summer of 1975, and that movie was called Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws is regarded as the first big summer blockbuster. There used to be a thing for all you kids out there who don't know what a blockbuster is, because I feel like now it's kind of not even really a thing, considering how many
There's just whatever movies, and there's billion-dollar movies.
There's that, and then there's also too the fact that like you get all these movies that are like, you know, dumped sporadically throughout the year that you would consider to be like, oh, it's our summer blockbuster, but they're like dropping it in November, March, sometimes February. Kind of feels like a lack of confidence almost, but you know, it is what it is. So you have the blockbuster back, you know, in a time when like no one really understood, well, what would a blockbuster look like? Well, it's like one movie that just takes over this whole summer, and literally the block of time that is the summer movie period, it just owns the shit out of it.
I thought it was called a blockbuster because people are like lined up around the block to see the movie.
That could also be like I don't know. It's like one of those like multiple like interpretations of it.
Okay.
So first you have Jaws as the first big summer blockbuster. Now, what is a blockbuster? So blockbuster actually is a term that goes back to World War II of bombs they used to drop that would take out, you know, portions or blocks of a city location. That post-war then that terminology then transferred to the Hollywood industry, where now they used it to describe like literally big budget productions that like would eat up and chew up like an entire chunk of like a budget or a season.
Okay.
And that's how we would end up with a blockbuster. Jaws is widely considered one of the first original summer blockbusters.
Yeah.
Before, it used to be like, oh, you know, a blockbuster, you know, it wouldn't happen out very often. It wouldn't even be really a goal. It would just be to describe like, hey, something.
So back then it was like, it would be like Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind and not many others.
Well, even later than that. So I guess like singing, I think like Singing in the Rain post World War II, I believe.
White Christmas, maybe? The song White Christmas from that movie, that's the most downloaded song of all time on iTunes.
I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bing Crosby, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't
you got that right.
I'm just asking questions. I do not know. So, Jaws, being the first summer blockbuster, set the tone of like, okay, studio goal, put out a movie that is a summer blockbuster. Something that gets the audiences in, produces a ton of money, can maybe even run a little bit into the fall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, larger scale production with even bigger results financially.
Yeah.
Cut 20 years later to 1996. The first ad, I believe, for Independence Day actually ran during the Super Bowl of that year.
Oh.
And once it aired on the Super Bowl, the reaction from everybody was like, oh, we need to see this movie when it comes out.
Yeah, because they were like, what? Aliens are trying to blow up Earth on July 4th? It's going to be big.
Well, it's also to the fact that no one saw visual effects like that before.
Yeah.
The visual effects in the movie actually won an Oscar for best visual effects. It's landmark in terms of how.
And they actually, it wasn't all CGI. They used a lot of miniatures, and like for the aliens, they used like costumes and puppets and stuff.
Yeah. Also to the fact that like you get the reactions of like the people looking up in just absolute astonishment at what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And the size and scope of how big the UFO is. Because when people think of the UFO, you know, I could say, like, the original movie...
I think of, like, the size of a shed, or, like smaller than a house. That's how I think of a UFO.
Like, I think the UFO that I've seen in a movie that I think would be most accurate would be in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Okay.
To me, that UFO, where it's pretty substantial, like it's a big ass, like, you know, at least a 4-5 story building size ship.
Yeah.
In the case of Independence Day,
it's like the size of a city, and then you have the mothership, and you remember in the beginning, you see, like, I feel like it was lit in such a way that it just looks like space, it just looks like blackness, but then you have, like, these ships coming out of, then you realize, the mothership. And you're like, whoa, that must be big.
Yeah, and the mothership is massive. It's like, it's almost like, I would say, like, country sized. Like, if you want to say, like, the ships that initially come in are like city sized, then you get the mothership, which is like a country size, like a country size.
And then you even have these little, like, fighter jet type UFOs.
Yeah, it's just really cool how everything was set up. So movie was directed by Roland Emmerich. Mm-hmm. Prior to this, he had directed the movie Stargate. I think it was pretty successful. You know, it was okay. You know, it did launch a bunch of spin-off series.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, like, okay, it's like a good solid introduction to, like, the sci-fi genre for Roland Emmerich. Then he does Independence Day. Excuse me. And Independence Day is just
bonkers successful.
With the movie, you have this really incredible cast. You have Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonnell, Judd Hirsch, the David's father, who's absolutely awesome in it. Mm-hmm. You have Margaret Collin, you have Randy Quaid, and then you have Harvey Fierstein, who...
I better call my mother.
I gotta call my lawyer. I forget my lawyer. So good. And then you have someone who did not do a blockbuster yet. Someone who did Bad Boys, which was pretty good. It was a Michael Bay movie, you know, so he could do action. Will Smith. Will Smith, known as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air up to that point. No one really thought, like, they thought, okay, you know, this guy could be a star, but,
yeah,
you know, not really.
This was pre-Men in Black.
Pre-Men in Black, and not a proven commodity yet. Like, he was like, okay, you know, he can helm a TV show. Let's see, you know, let's give him this movie, see what he can do. And boy, does he steal the shit out of this movie. He kills it. He is awesome. Like, you have moments from everybody else, but anytime Will Smith is on the screen, you're like, okay, this dude is, like, killing it right now.
Yeah.
So, really great ensemble cast who comes together to really, like, you know, pull the movie. And I think you also have Robert Lozier in it, too, the one general.
Robert Lozier, was he the... Oh, I remember him, yeah.
He's like, we need the fire on that building right now. Like, he does shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Robert Logier's awesome in it. But yeah, go
I was going to say, this movie kind of established what became a trend for Roland Emmerich, this sort of, like, disaster movie where you're jumping around between different characters and then all the characters kind of come together by the end.
Yeah, like, so you have 3 different settings. The Washington, D.C. setting is, I think, you know, it's used quite a bit, but it's like, it's one of the first ones that really kind of, like, gets shift from pretty quickly. Like, I feel like they mainly focus on New York. Well, not New York even. I would say L.A. is actually the bigger focus.
And so then, L.A. is Will Smith, right?
Yeah, so what happens is you have, in New York City, you get David and Harvey Fierstein. David, you know...
And Judd Hirsch.
Yes, Judd Hirsch's father. You see them playing chess on a... in, like, one of those setups in, like, Central Park, I believe.
Like an old man chess park.
Yeah, like all the old schmucks from the temple meet up to play.
Oh my god!
to meet up to play, like, chess and shit. Yeah, and you have Harvey Fierstein there, and David starts to notice this code that's going out, or, like, this, like, weird frequency that's
because he works at, like, a TV station.
Yes,
and he notices the signal.
Yes. Puts it all together, and he starts to realize, okay, they're communicating with one another. The ship that's currently over New York, the ship that's over Washington, D.C., and the ship that's over L.A. In Washington, D.C., you have Bill Pullman, president of the country. I would take him as our president. Fuck it.
Right, I would too.
Not to be whatever he's like, you know, he's okay. There's some scandal going on with him. I think something with his...
They say he's too young, and he's like... I even remember this... this line from David's wife, who happens to work for Bill Pullman.
Well, ex-wife, right? I think they split
ex-wife.
up, yeah.
And she's like, they're not attacking your policies, they're attacking your age. Because he's like 35, I think.
Which, not to be whatever, but I would gladly take a 35-year-old president who actually has stake in where the country is going versus, someone who's like, 75, 85, like, oh, I had a good life. It's like, what about the rest of us? You fucker.
Right.
But yeah, no. So Bill Pullman, president, he has his daughter there. They're like, navigating his presidency, which, of course, all the old heads in Washington are like, you're too young to be making policy decisions. It's like, okay, Colonel Sanders, thanks. Then in L.A. you have Mr. Will Smith with his wife, Vivica Fox. Vivica Fox, I believe that's his wife. Okay, cool.
Who would later be a badass and unfortunately get killed in Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yeah, she gets murked quick in that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have them out there. He's part of this Air Force called the Black Knights, I believe.
Yeah.
Like an Air Force corps dedicated with, flying fighter jets.
Yeah.
So you have the appearance of...
Oh, don't forget the fourth location.
What's the fourth location?
I think it's New Mexico or Arizona, one of those desert states. Randy Quaid.
So that comes in later.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, Area 51, Roswell. That's a little bit later in the movie, but you do have a focus on kind of this I'll call it like a D plot, because you do have a lot of plot threads going on. That's the one thing I will compliment about the writing in this movie, is the fact that they do have multiple plots going on,
and I think they all tie together beautifully.
They tie together excellently. I agree with that. For as much as you can write this movie off as it's this disposable schlock, disaster piece movie, the writing is not bad. I give credit to the writing. It's actually pretty solid, and you have multiple plot lines going on.
And they're all these plot lines are told efficiently.
Yes. And the fact that they're cutting in between all of them, I think it's really,
and it's
really
never
great
confusing.
Too. Yeah, you're following it perfectly. It's not well, what's going on here and what's going on? It's like, no, you get what's going on in all the locations. So you get this I'll say D plot with Randy Quaid's character, who Randy Quaid's amazing in the movie.
He is.
He's so good.
Because he's supposedly a psycho in real life.
Well, I will not speak illy of Randy Quaid. Watch what you say about Uncle Eddie, goddammit. Randy Quaid plays this ex-military guy, one of those conspiracy theory people that had he would have existed maybe 15 years later, he may have ended up on Rogan, a part of that podcast, just talking about UFOs and his experience with UFOs. So he's out in the desert. He has his family there. His family is kind of ashamed. Well, I'm saying kind of ashamed. They are ashamed of him because of how
he's a drunk.
He's
he flies a plane drunk. That's the introductory scene for him.
Oh, that's right.
He's flying a crop dusting plane drunk.
Yeah, he's flying his crop duster, and he shows up and he's all stumbly and shit.
Yeah. And then he stumbles into a diner or something.
Yeah, and everyone at the diner, of course, knows who he is. He's the town drunkard / also
Ezekiel, the town fool.
Yeah, he's known for his his whole conspiracy theory of, ooh, I was brought up by aliens, ooh, spooky. But then you, of course,
he thinks he was abducted by aliens, which it turns out he was. But they're all making fun of him, and my favorite moment of this scene is where this guy is like, "Hey Russell, did they do any sexual things to you?"
Yeah, and he's just I don't think he says anything. I think he's just no.
I think he punches him. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how that scene resolves. We'll just say he walks out of there with his head held high.
Something like that.
While stumbling around because he's a little inebriated from flying drunk, which apparently when you fly drunk, it makes you 2 times as drunk because you're at the altitude. Now that might be for an actual commercial plane where you're going up 22,000 feet, not whatever his plane was going at.
That would be Ron Howard's Flight starring Denzel Washington. That's a whole different movie.
So anyway, back to So you have like these frequencies that David's picking up. He's like, what the hell is this all about? Cut to suddenly you have these anomalies starting to appear in the sky. I believe an order is given by the president to send up like a plane to get close enough to this, like, whatever this thing is, incoming thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Plane goes up, and you hear them like talking like, we're hitting a lot of turbulence clouds, and next thing you know, you just see this giant fireball.
Yeah.
And like you just hear the pilot like, oh my, or what does he say? Oh my god, or something like that. Like,
my god.
Yeah, he says something like that, and then they just
this movie was like the original, like, my god.
Yeah, and then they proceed to just get vaporized. That entire
and it's a really cool shot where the fireball comes through, because for a very split
he says
second,
holy god. He's like, holy god. That's what he says,
something like that. And it's a really cool shot because when the fireball is coming through, for a split second, you can see like silhouettes of skeletons, like these people getting vaporized.
Oh my god!
If you look closely, you can see it. It's really cool.
I thought you were gonna say something like you could see like the outline of like Stanley Kubrick's face or something, like paying homage to Stanley Kubrick. That's what I thought you were gonna say, but anyway. Yeah. So that plane gets like just evaporated. Now they're like, now it's starting to turn into a new threat of, oh shit, something seriously bad is going on.
Yeah.
Then you have the scene that it's my favorite scene in the whole movie. You see Will Smith walking outside. He's getting the call to go back to I'm blanking on the name of the Air Force base, but he's getting the call to go back in.
Nellis?
What is it?
Was it Nellis?
That might be it. I'm not sure.
I know they talk about a base called Nellis at some point in there.
Yeah. So he gets the order to go. He has to go back in because he's getting an emergency call. His wife is giving him shit because she's like, I thought you said you're going to be done with this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I'm getting the call in now and I have to go do my thing. They're walking outside, and as they're walking outside, you see like people panicking, like throwing their shit in their trunks and stuff. And
he thinks they're leaving because of earthquakes.
Yeah. Then they proceed to look out over the LA cityscape, and what they see is a massive, huge, giant spaceship over LA. And just the look on Will Smith's face, like, goddamn, that he does a really good job acting in that scene, especially too being that it's like one of his first bigger roles.
Yeah. He
really sells like, what am I looking at right now?
Yeah.
Like it's not computing with his like what he's seeing versus like what he's thinking is like, I can't be seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And then both him and Vivica A. Fox sell the shit out of it.
They do.
So he goes, yeah, I gotta go. So he gets in this car. He drives, out to get to the Air Force Base to meet up with the boy Harry Connick Jr.
Yes.
So good, but we'll get back to that. So in LA you have Vivica A. Fox is getting ready to leave. Her crazy friend, I don't know the actress's name, but she's like, but she's like, I'm gonna go communicate with the spaceship, and she's like, look, we really need to go. They meet up in the strip club where she's an exotic dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to get the money. Her friend's like, oh, blah blah blah. I'm gonna go meet the spaceship. She's like, sure, fine. Out in New York, David's figuring out, okay, he figures out like these things are communicating and they're building up whatever they're building up.
And they were using, well, let me not spoil that.
No, go ahead.
If you haven't. Well, they're using our own satellites to bounce signals around.
Yeah, that's how David's able to intercept the signal, and he's able to figure out what it is. So both him and his dad realize we got to get down to the president. We got to let him know because there's a finite timer, and once the timer goes up, we don't know what's going to happen, but it probably is not going to be good.
Yeah,
because it's a countdown.
And here's where some great lines occur.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet the president, and I look like a schlemiel.
Yeah, when he's in the car as they're driving down. David on his way out of town lets his friend Harvey Firestein know, like you got to get the hell out of here because you have this much amount of time, and then once the clock hits 0, he's like, oh my god, I got to tell my mother. I got to tell my, what does he say, my sister? I think
I got to tell my lawyer. Forget my lawyer.
Yeah, forget my lawyer. So he goes to run. He goes to leave and get the hell out of there. Harvey Firestein leaves to get out of there. David gets out of New York City and he starts to head down to Washington. Him and his father both. I don't know why Harvey Firestein didn't just didn't just hang out with
them,
yeah,
right?
just go like, yeah, can I tag along? He's like, no, I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Yep.
Down in Washington, you have Bill Pullman trying to address the nation to say this is like a very unprecedented event. We have, I believe at the time, it's 3 UFOs appearing over Washington, New York, and LA. That's the initial start, not every other major city.
But then there was one in the Middle East. I think that's the one that, like, when the spaceships initially came and they were, like, hiding in these, like, fiery clouds.
Yeah, like it was like a weird...
I think it was in the Middle East where the plane was consumed by the fireball.
Okay, that's right.
So there's more of them. There's not just the 3 in America.
Yeah, so it's like a global event that's occurring. It obviously would be unprecedented.
Yeah.
And again, like, I feel like I'm not, like, emphasizing how, like, we take for granted what we see now with our effects and everything. Like, how we're very, like, you know, we're almost...
desensitized to special effects.
Yeah, we're like spoiled by like this like incredible CGI.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like most CGI today sucks.
Compared to then, yes.
Yeah.
It does. And even...
Because back then I feel like they were trying harder because they were really trying to wow people and like they cannot know this was in a computer. I don't want them knowing how this was done. Like special effects in Jurassic Park holds up pretty well.
Yeah, and also too, like, there's a smart call where you have a blend of human and CGI.
Yeah.
Where, like, you have the human element of everybody staring up at this, like, incredible thing. And to be fair, the thing you're seeing can absolutely be CGI, because it's like, you don't know what a spaceship's going to look like. It could absolutely look like that. You're not going to be like, oh, look at all the fake computer-generated imagery. You know, keep in mind back then, like, it wasn't, you know, computer technology. CGI wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. You could look at these things and be like, oh my god, that's actually a spaceship. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, like, and you have that mix of, like, human with the CGI, so that, like, when you get those scenes of the ship pulling over New York City, pulling over Washington, and everyone just staring up in, like, awe, like, at, like, what they're looking at. Again, it was revolutionary for the time.
Yeah.
It was just unforeseen, and then when finally seen, blown away.
Yeah.
Which will happen inevitably. So, wink. So now you have David. He gets down to the White House. David goes to meet with Bill Pullman. You have Thomas Whitmore meeting up with David.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that they have a past with each other, and David had punched.
You punched the president?
Yeah, he punched him in the past. So they have like this rocky ass.
No, Daddy wasn't the president at the time. You punched the president?
Yeah. So David breaks down what he had found, that these signals are linking up. Mm-hmm. It's at the same time that I believe they send up a couple of Black Hawk helicopters to try to communicate with the ship, and they're like flashing lights.
Which was probably inspired by Close Encounters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, like the whole like thing, except for differences, instead of playing the music with the colors, it's like, it's just
they're literally just flashing them. And there was kind of a cool sound effect with the flashing. It was like, psh, psh, psh.
This is Echo 1. I remember the guy, too.
Yeah.
The guy was too good in it, because he's trying to describe what he's seeing. We're seeing some light open up, and then all the Black Hawk helicopters just get vaporized. They get blown out of the sky, and at that point, you know, oh shit, these things are hostile as fuck.
Yeah.
So, President orders evacuation of the 3 major cities where they're currently flying over: LA, Washington, New York City. Problem is, it's way too late, you know, and to be fair, it's like, of course it would be too late, because not to be whatever, you don't know what they're even here for. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if they're going to be hostile. You don't know if they're going to be, you know, friendly. So at this point now, once you watch your Black Hawks get blown out of the sky by this thing with relative,
you know they're hostile.
Yeah, you know you have a problem. So now you have this evacuation. President with David and his dad and all of
David's ex-wife.
Yeah, his main chiefs of staff are all going to get out on one helicopter to take to the airport. You have like his staffs and aides in another plane.
Yeah,
poor sons of bitches. They have their own plane that they're going to get off of second.
And the president's wife, I think, was on a separate plane as well.
Well, she was out in L.A.
Oh.
Yeah, she was out in L.A., and that's what, like, she gets the order to evacuate. She, of course, is lucky enough to have her own helicopter, or unlucky enough. Yeah. She gets on. She's like watching these people on top of these buildings, like dancing and holding up signs saying "We welcome you" and shit. And she's like, "What about them?" And they're like,
"Oh God!" And Vivica A. Fox's like friend, coworker, whatever.
Yeah,
she's like up there holding up a sign, and then the spaceship starts opening up, and
Yeah,
she's like, "It's so pretty."
Yeah. So now you get like the scene where the you see the countdown, finally hits 0, and you just hear Jeff Goldblum look up and be like, "Time's up." And you suddenly see like the ship starts to open up.
I swear they tried to make every single line in this movie like a trailer line. Like, so many dramatic lines in this movie.
But to be fair, and this is where I kind of give it...
It's one of those, like, movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but I also give it, like, what else are you supposed to say? Yeah. It's like, you're not going to be like...
I'm just saying they pull the most drama out of this movie and cinematicness, if that makes sense, that they possibly can.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, definitely. So, David goes, "Time's up." See, like, all the ships, the one ship over the Capitol building, ship over the one building in LA, like the main skyscraper. I don't know what that building's called.
I don't know.
And then you have the one over the Empire State Building. Yep. All of these things are opening up. So you have the people out in LA are like, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful and so pretty." Yeah. And like, next thing you know, you see like the light go, and then you just see like, and then like just the whole fucking building explodes. Like,
yeah.
Again, talking about like the visual effects. Holy shit, did that building look like that got vaporized?
It did. Well,
it still looks good.
They blew up a lot of miniatures for this movie as well.
It still looks good. That's the crazy part about it, is it still holds up.
Yeah.
Like, you still watch it and go, "Oh my God." Like,
holds up better than some movies from like last year.
Yeah, and you're watching like this ship with its like, again, you when you hear laser beam, you think of like Mars Attacks with these like corny little like pistol lasers. No, this is a massive laser coming straight from the ship that just annihilates everything and anything and creates like this vast fire field, which is basically laser/fire bombing the shit out of these cities.
Yeah.
Like, you're seeing like out in LA, like cars are getting blown up against each other. You see, where's the one guy in the office building? He's like looking through files at the last minute, and then he looks and he's just like, "Oh," and he gets blown up out of the building.
Yep.
And then out of the building, and you see like Vivica A. Fox with her son and her dog, and they're just like in the car.
Oh my God!
And she looks up in the mirror, and you just see this vast
fireball coming down the tunnel that they're in.
While that's going on out in New York, so you have Harvey Fierstein. He's sitting there in traffic. He looks up and he's just like, "Oh crap!" And just proceeds to get just like a car. The last shot you see from his POV is like
this car
flying, and like it hits the camera, and it's really great for a transition shot. It's a good cut to have.
Yeah.
Then you get to like Washington D.C. You see like one of the aides who he's like an aide. They make a point to like really like focus on almost like he's like his own like little story they have.
Yeah.
So you see that helicopter get blown up. Washington's getting vaporized. LA's vaporized. New York City's getting vaporized. Then the action mainly focuses to Vivica A. Fox's character out in LA. Mm-hmm. Looks up, holy shit, fireball, grabs her son. The dog, for whatever reason, stays behind because the dog is just a fucking idiot. He's like, "Oh, fire looks tasty." So Vivica A. Fox is able to kick open a door. I like how she doesn't like try to grab anyone else. It's just her and her son. She's like, "Fuck all the rest of you."
Well, yeah.
Opens the door, and she's calling for the dog. The dog runs over to them as like the fireball's coming.
Like runs on top of cars.
Right as the fireball is getting right to where they're at, the dog makes this heroic leap jump. And just the fire just blasts past.
Right, that's like one of the best shots in the movie.
You see like this little orphan kid like, "My parents are," and like the dog is just like clearing like the fireball passes that orphan's just getting vaporized.
Yeah.
And then like everything cuts, the light bulb bursts, and then you get July 3rd, and you're like, "Holy shit!"
I was actually just gonna say that we were on the same wavelength because I was gonna say it's really cool how in this movie it starts off saying July 2nd, and then at the end of like the initial attacks, it says July 3rd, and then we'll get to July 4th, of course.
Yeah. Now we go to July 3rd, and you just see everything has been destroyed. I think, one of like the great shots of that is like you see like the Statue of Liberty just like face down in the water. You're like, wow, holy shit. Then you cut to Russell, Randy Quaid's character. He's out driving in the desert with his family, and he hears over the radio like 3 major cities have been attacking you. You just see him like, "Hot damn, I've been telling him for 10 years." And like his one son has like food poisoning or gets sick, so he runs out of the car, he's vomiting. They look out across the desert scape, and they just see like miles of cars just like stretching as far as they can see, and it's just it's like a sight that's very like like holy shit. Like you start to get like you start to understand like the scope and like how big of an event it is.
Yeah.
Then, you cut to David and President Whitmore. They're on the plane. President Whitmore gets told that his wife's helicopter never made it to where they were supposed to get to. Mm-hmm. So you assume, oh shit, she's cooked. You go out to L.A., you see Vivica A. Fox with her son and the dog appear, and they're looking out over the destruction, and they see like the corpse of the orphan boy. They like just push
my god, stop!
It's just like his body's like and just dead. So then we go to Will Smith's character, and we get my boy Harry Connick Jr.
Yep,
so good. And they're out, and they're going.
Sorry, sir, I'm just eager to get up there and whoop E.T.'s ass.
Yep, they're out. They're going over the plan. They're going over kind of like the motivation for what they're going to do. They're all hyped. They got their victory cigars ready to go when they get done their mission. Yep, when the fat lady sings. So now you have them going over the L.A. hellscape, and it is just destroyed. And he's just looking down and granted, while we know that Vivica A. Fox's character is still alive, his girlfriend's still alive,
mm-hmm.
he has no idea, and he's being consoled by Harry Connick Jr.'s character, and he's like, and they're like, all right, let's just handle business. They get there, and once they see the ship, I think they all realize, oh no, this is bad. So they get to the ship, and they're getting ready to start doing some damage to it. As they're getting ready to do damage to it, they suddenly then see they suddenly get to the ship, and you see
the alien fighter jets, basically.
Yeah. So not only is the ship big enough on its own to like destroy a city, it's the size of a city, they also have their own little private air force of their own.
Space Force, if you will.
So they have their own Space Force, and like it's funny, it's very reminiscent, and this is something I really like about the scene. So this scene reminds me a lot of like in A New Hope, mm-hmm. the trench run.
Yeah,
you get these shots of like the different men in their planes, and of course, like the first guy, he's like I don't know what to do, and he like runs into one of like the ships that are coming out and like proceeds to like blow himself up, but he doesn't blow the ship up because all the little ships have their own little defense mechanisms. Yeah. So now you can't even destroy them. Mm-hmm. So they're like trying to hit these ships, but they're not doing shit. They're shooting missiles at them. Missiles aren't doing anything. Bullets aren't doing anything. And they proceed to just get the whole entire Black Knight squadron gets vaporized.
Mm-hmm.
Except Stephen Hiller, Will Smith's character, and Harry Connick Jr. They then proceed to make a run for it, going out of L.A. and heading towards the desert mm-hmm. of California, New Mexico, Arizona, all those areas.
Mm-hmm.
So they're heading out that way, but as they're heading out that way, they're also being tailed by two other planes. Well, two other enemy aircrafts, alien ships.
Yep.
So they do a couple tight like maneuvers where like they do these intense ass dives,
like through a canyon and some shit.
Yeah, like they're doing dives in order to get these things off of their tail. Problem is, Harry Connick Jr.'s character, his oxygen is like, I forget what it is. He's like doing these tight ass moves that his body is like not being able to handle.
Yeah.
So eventually he has to take his mask off because he's struggling to breathe, and he unfortunately gets locked on by the alien and gets absolutely vaporized. And there goes Harry Connick Jr. Harry Connick Jr. He gets got by the Lord. Mm-hmm. So now you just have the last surviving member, Stephen Hiller, Mr. Will Smith. He's getting out there and he's finally able. He does a tight maneuver, gets his plane to basically run into the ship, and he ejects himself.
Yeah.
So now you get one of my favorite scenes in any movie of maybe the 90s, actually. And you want to talk about the moment that made Will Smith a star? So he gets on the ground, and he's pissed. He is, like, angry. He's like, I should have been at a barbecue. Like, he's freaking out.
Look at you, ship all banged up.
Yeah, oh yeah. So he, like, walks up to the ship. He's getting on top of the ship. He's going to, like, try to get it open because he's that fucking angry. He wants to, like, kill this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Little, like, door opens up, and it's like a cool effect. Like, it's like a strobing effect, like the smoke and everything.
Yeah.
The alien that comes out is horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it's seriously scary looking because it's
got these evil black eyes. It's got an overall, tentacles. It's got tentacles. It kind of looks like a squid with a creepily humanoid face.
Well, like, it's weird because there's the inside of the alien, and then they have their, like, little covering, which is, like, the squid part.
Yeah.
So when the alien's getting ready to jump out at Will Smith just proceeds to deck the shit out of this alien. And then as he's looking at him, and just goes, "Welcome to Earth," and punches the shit out of it.
And a star was born.
Yep. Then he sits down, pulls out a cigar, and goes, "That's what I call a close encounter." It's like so goddamn good. God damn, is that scene awesome.
Iconic.
Yeah, it's so good. It's fucking... Like, that scene there is just... fantastic.
So good.
So, entire flight squadron wiped out. They wipe out all the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They had all met up somewhere that's all annihilated.
Yep.
They're up in the plane arguing what they're going to do next. It turns out that Philly got annihilated, Chicago got annihilated, and then there was one other city. I'm blanking. I think Denver maybe got annihilated.
Okay.
So now you have additional cities that are getting vaporized. President Whitmore goes, I forget he says something like, they're exterminating us, I think, something like that, the way he describes it.
Yeah. So,
they're on the plane now. President Whitmore not sure really like what they should do. They're having conversations. You have David who kind of interjects in the middle of this meeting. The defense secretary tells David to fuck off. His dad comes in and goes, "Don't you speak to my David like that?
Yeah, it's
you would all have been dead now without my David." It's like so good, like that.
And is that where he starts talking about Area 51? Yep. You knew then, and you did nothing.
Oh, so good. And like, and of course you have President Whitmore like blowing him off, like, "Look, sir, you really don't know what you're talking about. There is none of that." And then you have the defense secretary looking a little coy,
and he's like, "That's not entirely true."
Now, here's the thing for me with this scene. Would it shock me that there are members of certain staffs that know stuff that not even the president knows?
Yeah, I believe that.
I believe that 110%. Yeah. I think there are things that the FBI, CIA know that the president doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we're going to go into with our little like conspiracy chat here. But that would not shock me if the idea of that there being like a whole nother part of the White House staff that knows something the president doesn't even know.
Yeah.
So now they're making the beeline down to Area 51 or wherever it is in New Mexico where they're based out of.
Nevada. That's where Area 51 is.
Oh, well, this may have been something different because they go down to, I think, Roswell, New Mexico.
No. David's dad, Judd Hirsch, brings up the Roswell incident, but where they're going is Nevada, I'm pretty sure, because that's where everyone says Area 51 is. Groom Lake, Nevada. Y'all remember when we were going to attack Area 51 in 2019?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Everyone was going to Naruto run.
Yeah, the image of, like, Naruto people running in with military, like, machine gunners just blanketing the field and just people getting dropped, like, oddly satisfying. But
there were so many memes of, like, I'm going to find me a fine alien bitch to bring home.
Okay, so they make a beeline to Roswell, New Mexico. That is where they go.
Okay.
Head out to Roswell, New Mexico. That's where the defense secretary kind of hints that there might be something there.
Yeah. So
now they have a new destination point. You have Will Smith walking through the desert, runs into Russell, the crazy, I've been telling him for 10 years I got my jimmies rustled by these fucking freaks.
They run into each other, and Will Smith and Russell asks him where he's going, and Will Smith's like, "Oh, I just flew over a base that I saw," and Russell's like, "It ain't on the map," and Will Smith's like, "Trust me, it's there."
Mm-hmm. So now they're all hitching a ride there. So you're starting to get this really great, like, things are starting to come together.
Yeah.
Then you go out to LA and you see Vivica A. Fox. She's trying to, like, save as many people as she can. Very slim with the amount of people she saves. Finds the wreckage of this downed helicopter. Finds, like, I think a body or two. And then she finds alive Mrs. Whitmore.
Heyo.
She survived.
Yeah.
But she's, like, fucked up. Like, she's badly, like, messed up. And, like, clearly she's not doing hot.
Yeah.
So she's able to save her. They're able to, like, establish, like, a little camp area, like a little refuge, while they're, like, trying to put together put back some of the pieces that they can and find survivors to gather there. So now you go to, President shows up to this facility. It's a state-of-the-art, really incredible-looking facility. You have all these scientists.
And you have the great character Dr. Oaken, played by, I forget his name, but the guy that played Data in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name too. God damn it.
Yeah.
He's a really cool character. They do something really stupid in the sequel with his character.
I don't even want to know.
So they go down to the state of the art facility. The president's like, "Why wasn't I ever told about this?" And he's given some bullshit answer by his Secretary of Defense. Yeah, he's given some bullshit answer. So they go down. The scientist Oaken comes up to them and goes, "Oh God, it's really great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming out here." They're really excited. And then, he pulls him down. He's talking about how, in the last, 24 hours, we've been seeing, a bunch of lights coming on. We've seen the ship. It's
so exciting. And to which Whitmore is exciting? Thousands or millions or whatever. So many people are dead because of these things. Exciting is hardly the word I would choose to describe it.
And he goes, "Shut up." Just shut up, Mr. President. No. So you see that they actually have the ship that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico, was actually one of the little mini fighter ships.
Yeah,
that you
still
see,
big. It's as big as a house.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah, when you start to look at the size of these things, seeing the size of these things versus how small everyone else is.
Yeah,
you realize how very insignificant. You're wow, these things are cosmic big, and we're cosmic small, basically.
Yeah.
So now you have this really great scene where they're down in this this facility. They're now turning the facility into their new command post.
Mm-hmm.
They have a ship that appeared over Houston. They're told, "Look, we need to go with the strongest option possible. We need to nuke this ship."
Mm-hmm.
You see this military truck that's stationed just outside of Houston. I think it is just outside the city limits, and they're
mm-hmm.
tracking, "Look, sir, you shoot the nuke at it, give us the command to do it, and we'll track the results." The problem is, with him nuking the ship, he's also going to nuke the city as well.
Yeah.
So basically, it's guaranteed. No matter what, if you happen to still be in Houston with the ship over you, you're fucked. So
either way, you're fucked.
Yeah. So begrudgingly, President Whitmore gives the okay to nuke the spaceship over the city of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Nukes this ship. You see the nuke going off. You see the truck that's parked outside the city with the army people in it starts shaking with the nuclear bomb smoke.
Yeah.
Going off, and it says direct hit, which everyone's celebrating. And as the smoke clears, the ship is perfectly fine. They did fucking nothing to it. Our strongest weapon we have did nothing. Zero, total dick to the spaceship.
Yeah.
And at that point, then it's just this sinking, oh my God,
what do we do?
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's just a really, again, talk about a really great, moment of true despair where all hope is lost. Because at that point, then when you pull out your ace card and your ace card isn't worth shit, there's not much you can do. Cut to them figuring out where the people at Roswell base, they figure out where Vivica A. Fox is with the Madam President, is there as well, injured. Helicopter comes in. Out pops my boy Will Smith.
And that's a cool scene because when I was a kid, when I saw this movie for the very first time, and Vivica A. Fox is looking up at these lights in the sky and there's something coming down, I thought, and they even play some they play that ba-da-da, da-da-da, they play that creepy alien music,
mm-hmm.
and you think it's a spaceship, but no, it's a helicopter, and it's Will Smith.
Yep. So, while that's going on, and as they're all getting rescued out of LA, you have the Dr. Oaken who's going to be performing a autopsy on the alien that Will Smith punched to death.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if it would surprise you if I were to say that perhaps he didn't kill it and just knocked it out.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
But so you have this. It's funny. This scene kind of reminds me very similarly later on of the Dr. Octopus scene in Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Where it's you have this thing where they're going to start to saw into this thing to try to open it up and to look at what the odd
and then whoosh, it snaps wide open.
And next thing you know, everyone's just getting murked and fucked up.
Yep.
and even Dr. Oaken's standing there, and next thing you know, everything goes dark. So
there's smoke, there's strobe lights, because apparently this alien was wearing some sort of biological suit. So it's an alien inside an alien kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the actual alien itself is inside this.
Well, yeah.
Inside this basically spacesuit for it.
But it's a flesh suit.
Yeah, yes, it's a flesh suit. So there's a big commotion. The president and his entire crew go down to this room where they're hearing like this noise from the other side of the wall. The screen opens up and you just see, like, as Goldrich was saying, like smoke, lights flashing, and you're like, what the hell's going on in there? And next thing you know, Dr. Oak just smashes up against the window. He's got like a tentacle. Like, all right, so this is.
But this shit scared me as a kid.
Well, yeah, it's scary until you like. Now we laugh at it because it's just like, wow, that's really stupid. But
yeah.
Like, yeah, when you're younger, or if it's your first time seeing the movie, you're like, holy shit.
But this, I will say, is like kind of a badass moment when the alien has its tentacles around his Dr. Oaken's throat, and it's like you could see it like flexing his throat, kind of, and it's like speaking through him.
Yeah, so the alien basically takes him and uses his own vocal cords to communicate.
Yeah.
To the president. The president tries to like negotiate with the alien. It's like, you know, look, can we figure out a way around this? Can we find some kind of mutual agreement? Can we find peace? And then he's just like,
peace, no peace,
no peace. And it's like, ugh, scary. Yeah. And then like the alien starts to flash imagery to the president, which causes him to like go into this kind of like massive migraine attack, like paralyzed. The one gentleman pulls out his gun, opens fires, shoots, kills the alien. So bullets can kill, like, once it's open and it's out of its spacesuit, you can kill the alien with bullets, but
yeah,
good luck trying to get past like seven different like shields and whatever else.
Yeah.
They go over, they check the pulse of Dr. Oaken. He appears dead. You would think he's dead, but we'll talk about the sequel towards the end. So they check him, Oaken's dead. They're finally able to like pull up President Whitmore, and President Whitmore goes, their whole thing is he's like, I saw what they do. They go to different planets. They take up all their resources. They annihilate all of the, you know, the whatever, like, indigenous population. Yeah, whatever the population is on that planet, and then they proceed to drain the resources until there's nothing left, and then they go on to the next planet. That's their whole MO as their alien races. So yeah. So very like very insidious, malevolent, insidious aliens. Yeah. Bastards. Anyway, so now you have it where they bring back Vivica A. Fox to the base. They bring back Miss Whitmore back to the base.
Everybody's there. Party at Area 51.
Yeah, everyone's there. Very sadly, you learn that for Miss Whitmore, she had too much internal damage and that she's bleeding out and she's going to die no matter what. Yeah. She dies, but does get the last chance to say goodbye to President
Which is actually a really emotional scene.
Yeah, because it's very like, you know, Bill Pullman being an incredible actor, you know, and also the actress playing Mrs. Whitmore doing a really great job, like, you know, selling her death. Also, too,
I just now realized, was she in Dances with Wolves? She looks like the actress that was in Dances with Wolves, like his love interest.
You will have to check the IMDb when we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to check the Independence Day.
Because you said Mary.
The fan wiki of
Did you say Mary McDonald?
She was in Dances with. That's her. Yeah.
Good yeah, she's Kevin Costner's love interest in Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, wasn't she like a kidnapped white woman or something like that?
Yeah, and she like couldn't even speak English anymore. She had to like relearn English. But Dances with Wolves, another great movie. But back to Independence Day.
Best Picture winner, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now you have it where it's the total low point. Everyone's given up hope of even trying to take these things out because of how advanced they are.
David gets drunk and he's like, we should just trash this planet and they won't want it anymore.
Yeah, like...
Meanwhile, we didn't mention this earlier, but David, throughout this whole movie, is like all about being healthy and a clean freak and like taking care of the planet, saving the world. Like he's all about all of that. But now he's lost all hope and he's drunk and he's all disheveled and he's throwing empty bottles everywhere. And
yeah, he's throwing like Coke cans at like the ship, like,
yeah.
And I think that's actually what happens, right? Because,
well, hold on, no, his dad gives him like this big inspirational speech.
Yeah, the dad,
which he kind of ignores in his like stupor of like hopelessness. But then at the end, his dad says like, "Get up off the floor, you're going to catch a cold," and that's when David has this epiphany. Oh, computer virus. That's how we take down the shields.
Yes, because so what David comes to realize is that they can reverse the signal that he initially got at the beginning of the movie where they were using our ships against us, or our satellite ships against us.
Now we can do that against them.
Now we can fuck with them, and specifically, in order to do it correctly, we need to get to their mothership. The mothership is currently parked, I believe, over top of the planet. I'm not specifically sure where it's at.
Yeah.
But it's over our planet. I believe it's actually by the moon, funny enough. Like it's out.
It was.
Yeah, like it's out towards the moon. Like that's its operating area.
Yeah.
So once David realizes he can reverse this virus to make it now attack the mothership itself, then it can be taken advantage of to develop a plan to take out these other like hostile ass ships. David goes over this plan with the entire staff and crew of the Area 51 base. He says how he can't fly the plane, he can't fly the ship himself, and then you have the amazing Mr. Will Smith go, I can fly that. I've seen how it flies. I've seen how it operates. If you don't mind, Mr. President, I don't mind, helping him out with it. And he goes, sure, why not? So now you get this scene before they go to leave where Will Smith gets married to his girlfriend, Vivica A. Fox. They have this really beautiful, like, scene with, like, the person, like, reading the vows. Like, I guess it's, like, the chaplain of Area 51.
And then while that's being read, you have this beautiful, like, it cuts to their only witnesses of their marriage, which is David and his ex-wife. And you get this, they're looking at each other. I think they even hold hands, and you get this inkling of, like, oh, maybe they're going to get remarried.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what happens when you have an intergalactic existential threat and what that does to you relationship-wise. That definitely makes you go, well, we need to breed to reproduce people on this planet.
Right.
So let's get it done. So now you have it where they develop this plan. They're relaying the plans to different areas around the world. You see British people. I forget who the British are working with.
I don't know, but they're like, I think they're like in Iran.
German.
I was going to say they're in Iran, because the British are like somewhere in the desert.
Well, you have these groups that wouldn't usually work together at all now working together.
Yeah.
Controversially.
And there's this funny part where they get word that the Americans have a plan, and they're like, oh, the Americans have a plan. And the other guy...
of course the Americans have a plan.
The other
Does
guy's
it involve
like...
drinking tea? No, then we will not be interested.
Oh, no, the other guy's like, well, it's about bloody time. What do they intend to do?
Yeah, it's like you're goddamn right. We have a plan. You better get that fucking straight.
That's why this movie is like America.
Yeah, one of the controversial parts of that scene, and they actually cut it out when they did the international release, was there's a scene in the movie where members of Hezbollah are working with the Israelis. Now, obviously,
what is Hezbollah?
Hezbollah is a military. They're all right. So they're considered a terrorist cell.
Okay.
But they have a fighting force. I think in southern Lebanon is where they operate out of.
Okay.
You have them, and then you have Israel working together at this point because they don't have any other choice but to work together because it's now humanity versus alien and not different sects of people versus one single thing. So you have them working together.
Why did this movie not bring world peace?
Because why the fuck would it?
I know, I'm kidding.
Anyway, so it was a big controversy because at the time Israel and Hezbollah, they don't get along with each other. Very very contentious relationship with each other.
Yeah.
So they so Hezbollah issued kind of like this proclamation where they said they wanted everyone to like denounce the movie who's of Muslim faith. Mm-hmm. Don't watch the movie. Don't support it because Israel working with Hezbollah, no good.
Sacrilege.
So when they told Jeff Goldblum this, who he is Jewish.
Yeah.
He said, I think Hezbollah is kind of missing. The members of Hezbollah are missing the point of this movie. The point of the movie is that people can work together. It just so happens in this case here that it's like the most extraordinary event that's causing them to work together, but people can indeed work together.
Did you know Ronald Reagan made a speech in which he said, like, I hope that one day if there is an alien threat that all of humanity will band together and put aside their differences and something. But yeah, Ronald Reagan, crazy ass, was talking about aliens in his speeches, even though they told him not to.
I hope one day the people of this planet will put aside their differences to come together and enjoy a Big Mac. No. to beat the alien president. Oh, I give a shit about aliens. Anyway, enough of that. Enough political discourse.
Anyway,
now
we digress.
We're about to get back to the real American, fucking part of this movie where you get. Now they have a plan. David and Will Smith, or Hiller, excuse me.
Yeah.
They get on this jet. They're trying to figure it out. It's a pretty funny scene where you see like him trying to control it, and they like back up into some shit, and he's like, "Oh, my bad. Oh, the controls were flipped." He flips the controls, and he flies up.
Yeah.
Him and David both fly out over Area 51 up towards space.
It's funny where he's like, and me and my mom quote it to this day. Like anytime anyone says "oops," we're like, "What? What oops?" Let's do it again, but without the oops.
Yeah, so good. So they take off. They go towards space. The president then requests upon any able body and anybody with flight experience to come and meet in order to like take part of this major mission where the goal is to get up in the air
and coordinate like time-wise, like the second the virus gets uploaded and their shields are down before they can like figure out a counterattack, take out all these ships.
Yep. So that's the plan. The plan is to do everything and anything they can to just wipe out on a global scale. This is a global coordinated event where it's Britain, it's Israel, it's Hezbollah, it's Japan, it's China, like all these companies with like, or all these companies, all these
basically,
yeah, all these countries with these issues and these tribulation, they're all going to work together, coordinate to take out these enemy ships. You have then. And I really like to imagine it like this speech being broadcast throughout the globe, but in this case here, it was probably just spoken on
in front of those couple hundred people.
So, and also too, you have the time switch now where it goes from July 3rd to July 4th. They're all getting ready to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
President Whitmore now gets up, stands in front of these people, and gives what I would argue is probably one of the best speeches. Like, I can't think of another movie where a speech is given that gets you hyped up as much as this speech does.
Yeah.
They had to have hired, I feel like, someone had to have hired an outside writer to come in who has written presidential speeches.
Yeah.
In order to write this.
I could see that.
And literally, like, they probably said, look, what would you write to get a group of people fired up?
To fight aliens.
Yeah, knowingly to die, basically. Like, these people are going up there with no promise of life. Like, they could be going up there and just dying, but they'll also die if they do nothing. So it's either one way or the other.
Yeah.
You got to get.
Might as well die fighting.
Yeah, you got to get these people hyped up, and you're the president. What do you say to them?
Mm-hmm.
You then have the speech that is Bill Pullman fucking kills it.
He does.
Like if you could give an Oscar for like a 5-minute segment of a movie. In only 5 minutes, Bill Pullman would have gotten my like vote for an Oscar. He kills it with this speech.
Same, and I like that it starts out a little imperfect, like he stutters over a word or two.
Yeah, like the mic,
but then,
the mic like echo, like screeches feedback or whatever.
Yeah, and then he starts off slow and kind of relaxed, and then over the course of it, he like builds up and up and up, and bam,
and then
he goes off at the end.
And then today we celebrate our
Independence Day.
And everyone's like, yeah, it's like so good. And you see Russell, Randy Quaid's character, is like going to be part of it, and he's like, yeah, and like it's
I can fly. I'm a pilot.
Yeah, that scene was hype as shit. So now everybody's getting ready to fly.
And I remember in that scene that he had given up drinking, but he was drinking a hell of a lot of coffee.
That's right. Yeah. I can fly. I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
So everybody, including the president now is going up himself because he has flight experience.
I belong in the air.
So good. So they all hop in the jet. They all hop in their collective jets. They fly up to basically redo the Black Knights. The only difference this time is these are like people with like who haven't flown in like decades.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Black Knights, that's their whole thing is flying now. Like
it's a bunch of like drunk desert trailer hippies.
Yeah, I've heard the term tarmac rats, and I'm like
tarmac rats.
Yeah, I've heard that term before.
Okay.
Kind of accurate. So they all get in the plane. They're flying up. Incredible. You see them get there. It's really hype. They start doing their thing, and of course, run into the same exact problem again. They're trying to shoot shit. It's not working. You see people getting blown up. Even Bill Pullman has a scene where he's talking to one person, and the person's like, Mr. President, I think we can... And he gets blown up. He's like, oh, yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like so good. And then you cut up to David and Hiller.
Yep.
They're now up at the spaceship. They're able to get into the spaceship. The problem is when they get into the spaceship, they get locked in by like whatever, like I guess like the loading port is.
Yeah.
Lock onto them. And there's like this other alien on the other side that's out of its like
and
suit.
It's like,
yeah, it's just like looking like, you know, like on whatever computer program it uses. And you cut to them, then you cut back.
And then Will Smith's like, this is stupid, they can see us. And Jeff Goldblum's like, oh, but wait, power windows. And they close the windows and they start uploading the virus.
Yes. So then you cut back down to where this spaceship is now flying to Area 51 because it's figured out, oh shit,
yeah.
like that's where these people have gone to, and that's where like they're coordinating out of.
Yeah.
Ship is appearing over Area 51. Someone brings up, wait, they're going to be having the ship fly over. What about the people out on the ground?
Yeah.
So they reluctantly agree to let trailer park folk into Area 51 as these ships are like basically doing these sweeping like gun downs of like everybody out of the base, and you see people running in as like laser
explosions everywhere.
Yeah, and like they're getting on the elevator, and like you're seeing bodies flying left and right as the doors just shut, and they're taking down like all these like redneck folk down to the fancy military base and whatnot.
Yep.
They're able to figure out a way to upload the virus. The problem is, by them uploading the virus, they're also going to get like messed up because they're aboard this ship.
Yeah.
They find a way to get detached, and they start to fly out of the ship. Once they upload the virus, now back down on the ground, they officially realize, oh my god, their shields are down. To which you get Bill Pullman giving one of like the hardest things I've ever heard as he's flying. He's like, "Boys, let's pile the road," and just they're just like wiping out ships left and right.
Yep.
He fires a missile into the ship, but the missile does nothing.
Yeah.
Jack shit. Russell then realizes, I know how to defeat them. He like goes, tell my family.
As they're getting ready to shoot a laser down, like they're opening up, it's so pretty and shit.
Yeah, they wait for it to open. The whole thing is they have to wait for it to open up in order to get inside of it to do the most damage.
Yeah.
So as soon as they're getting ready to fire, he goes, tell my wife I love them, or tell my kids I love them, or something like that. And right as the thing is opening up, prepared to fire, he starts to fly his plane, which in a deleted scene, he actually flies the crop duster.
Really?
There's a deleted scene where he flies the crop duster instead of one of the military jets.
That's kind of cool.
They took that out and decided to go, okay, we're just going to have you fly like a regular military jet, not the crop duster.
Yeah.
So he's flying up, and I'm not going to lie, it's pretty sick. When he like pulls off his mask, he's like, "Hello, boys.
I'm back."
And then as soon as he hits, it's like, ba-boom, and it just like fucking annihilates the ship. It's so sick.
Yeah.
And like the ship's just like blowing up, and our Lord and Savior, Randy Quaid, figures out a way to blow it up, get it destroyed. They are then able to send out through their like system, and I believe it's actually a Morse code system they use.
Okay.
Yeah. They send it out to like all these areas worldwide to say, hey, this is how you defeat the ship. Now, granted, someone's going to have to draw the short straw and blow themselves the fuck up.
Yeah.
But at least you can take out the ship, though.
Yeah.
So now you have it where both David and Hiller, they are able to get out of the docking bay, and they're flying through the ship, and they're getting chased out as they're flying out.
Mm-hmm.
You get this incredible sequence where, like, as they're flying out, you start to see the door that they came in through is starting to close.
Yeah.
And they're like getting, and like, they're freaking the fuck out.
And you have Jeff Goldblum revisiting a line from Jurassic Park, "Must go faster. Must go faster."
So good. And then you just get Will Smith like, "Oh!" And then he like bursts through. You remember when he like,
"I have got to get me one of these."
Oh, so good. God damn it. He flies out, the other ships all explode as the door is shutting. They hit the thing. Yeah. And now the mothership then explodes. Now the problem is the mothership explosion obviously is going to be celestially a lot fucking bigger than like these like, city-wise ships blowing up, which that's going to do its own damage. Which it is funny when you do see them crashing, you just imagine them like crashing into like the last survivors like of like a city, just like the massive ass ship like, and
my god.
Yeah, you get the picture of the Sphinx in the Great Pyramid, and like you see the people celebrating in Egypt as like you see this like ship with like fire coming out of it.
Yeah.
So they escape just in time. They as they're flying the ship down back to Earth, you just see like this bright ass light and flames start to envelop their ship, and then it cuts back on the ground. You see the president celebrating. They're all high fiving. They end up saying that they spotted something on radar crashing like out in the desert. they're not sure if it's an enemy ship or what it is. They go out to meet this ship, and sure enough, it's Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, like the most unexpected fucking duo in any movie.
And they're walking away from the wreckage of the ship. The smoke's pluming in the background. Yeah. It's such a great shot. They got their cigars going.
Oh, so hype. Yeah, that really is sick. I mean, you would talk about a great way to end the movie, and then you see like there's fireworks going off or something like that, or I forget what it is. I don't.
Well, no, it's the wreckage from the mothership falling down, like raining down, but it kind of looks vaguely like fireworks. And Will Smith says to his son, "Didn't I tell you you'd see fireworks?"
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And you see the president's holding his daughter, and she's saying, "Look, Dad, fireworks." He's like, "Yeah, I see it, fireworks." And that's how you end the movie. And god damn,
so good,
so good. That's again, Independence Day is one of those movies where again, I've never been personally a big fan of big disaster.
Me either, movies, but I think this transcends that somehow.
It transcends it because it was so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Up to that point, we had never seen anything like this where...
Yeah. This to me is the definitive alien invasion movie.
Later on they would start to play with it, play with the concept. But I think that
Signs is amazing as well.
Yeah. I think that this movie specifically is the perfect antidote to the 50s B invasion movies.
Exactly. It's the big budget, serious but still kind of corny but on purpose version of that.
Yeah, I think Roger Corman was the big maker of the 50s alien movies.
Yeah.
It's basically that, but instead of seeing an alien saucer on a string dangling above what's clearly a painted fake cutout of the White House, this time you actually have a White House getting annihilated, vaporized, and exploded.
Yeah.
So that,
And that by the way, that special effect, that was done in one take. Because they made this really good, miniature of the White House, and they blew it up with real explosives in one take.
That goes to the whole thing of visual effects where, and this is something I wish they would bring back too, where using miniatures as, the close object, and for the visual CGI effects...
Use that for, the wide shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to, you had brought up earlier Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
In that movie, for the close-ups, they would use the animatronics. And for the far-away shots, they would use CGI.
Yeah.
It's a perfect balance of, okay, we don't want this to look... It's going to look shitty if it's...
A close-up, CGI close-up looks shitty.
Yeah, whereas if you, show it far away, at least then it looks a little more believable.
Because for one thing, you're not looking for fine details in a wide shot.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So again, this movie did really incredibly. It was released, I believe, on July the 2nd. Funny enough, that's the release date. It was a Thursday release.
Yeah.
It had the largest Thursday pre-screening opening of all time.
Oh my God.
Up to that point.
Oh, okay.
Up to that point, it did. Then it just absolutely demolished the rest of the weekend. The July 3rd and then Saturday, July 4th weekend.
Yeah. This
movie just ate it. It was just ate. It did incredibly. Later on, it would win Best Visual Effects. Absolutely. I think it was also nominated for Best Sound Design. And the sound design is pretty solid in the movie. I'm surprised it didn't get nominated for Best Original Score.
It had amazing music.
That score was, again, I don't expect anyone... I didn't, again, you wouldn't think anyone from this movie would win an Oscar except for, I would argue, Bill Pullman, in that speech, fucking killed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the score is incredible and didn't get a nomination, I don't
There's so many good, recognizable themes. 3 that stand out to me is, the sort of dread-filled alien theme. Bum, 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 bum.
Mm-hmm.
That and, bum, 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 bum,
yeah, the victorious president.
Yeah, it's the fanfare kind of thing. And then, when the president's wife is dying, there's this beautiful violin music that goes da 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 da.
Yeah, maybe it's because I guess in the Oscars' mind they didn't want to give a fucking big budget disaster
alien movie. Yeah,
they didn't want to give it any sort of respect other than you get nominated for Best Visual Effects and that's the best you'll ever get.
And they gave Best Score to how beige was my jacket.
Yeah, right. Yeah, how my teacup fills with tears or some shit. Anyway. So this movie made Will Smith a star.
I'm sorry, how my teacup fills with tears.
That one was what you call came straight from my ass, and I'll leave it there. So now this movie makes Will Smith a star. He is, goes on to make Men in Black, goes on to make Wild Wild West. Yeah, a little bit. But he just goes on to be a major worldwide international star from this movie.
And he just kept going up. There's I, Robot, I Am Legend, like, great movies.
Yes.
After Earth.
Yeah. Later on down the road, you would get in a sequel to Independence Day Resurgence, which thankfully Will Smith said no to that movie. He gave a hard pass to that movie.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you bring back Dr. Oaken. Sure enough, comes back in that movie. Turns out he was just in a coma for, I think they said, like 35 years.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, and he's like, and now they're talking about taking the fight to the aliens this time at the end of the movie, where instead of just like, fucking stupid, needless, lazy.
Like, you already defeated the aliens.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Unoriginal, uninspired.
Mm-hmm. So I thought, so we're taking the fight to the aliens. I thought it was called Resurgence because it's like a second wave of the aliens. Like, they're coming to us again.
Yes, but like,
but also it's like, why are we doing the same thing again?
Yeah, it's lazy. The only credit I give the movie that seemed kind of interesting was the concept of them saying, hey, we'll take their tech and now integrate it into our technology. Okay, that's sort of interesting.
Yeah.
Not for a whole fucking movie without any of the original cast except for Goldblum and Pullman coming back.
Yeah.
Which I wish they didn't. I wish they would have said, fuck that, no.
Yeah.
Will Smith was the only one I give credit to for saying, yeah, I'm not
Well,
doing that.
Jeff Goldblum has some crackhead energy. I feel like he'll do anything.
Okay, one, it's not crackhead energy. He's an artist.
Fine, he's eccentric.
Jeff Goldblum's the fucking man. I really
do love Jeff Goldblum.
He's great. He's also a jazz musician, too. He plays piano. Has his own club that he plays at. Sick.
I also loved him in Thor Ragnarok.
He was good in that, but like when I think like Jeff Goldblum, I think
hey, Sparkles or whatever your name is.
Well, like Ian Malcolm,
Oh, that's an all-time great role.
Yeah, The Fly, he does a really great job in.
Are there dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour?
Hello? Yeah, when he's like leading it to like the camera.
Life finds a way.
So good. Yeah, no, Independence Day, it really is like a great, like, 4th of July. We're not doing anything. We're by the pool. We're cooking some burgers. Baseball game might be coming on in 2 hours, or maybe it's already been on and now you're looking for something else to watch. Independence Day is sick. You get that little chub from Bill Pullman giving that speech.
The little chub?
Yeah. Come on, that doesn't get you like...
I get a spiritual chub, if you will.
What the fuck? Are you European? Get the fuck out of here. Spiritual chub, no fucking physical chub. Fucking goddamn it, it's America. But yeah, no, this movie just it so makes the 90s.
It's just that
it
classic...
makes the great jump from like no like CGI visual effects to starting to use them more frequently was because of Independence Day.
Yeah. It was that great turning point, but it also, like, to me, perfectly symbolizes the 90s as, like, it's just that big, shiny, explosive American movie, It's like I said in the beginning of the podcast, it's the most American movie of all time.
Yeah, and what's funny, too, is it's like, it's not even, like, how do I describe it?
Isn't Roland Emmerich not even American?
He isn't, he's German.
Okay.
When you have, like, people in other countries go, like, what would you say, like, what movie, like, really, I'll have my favorite movie, which might not even be an American-made movie. It might be made in Britain, somewhere else. If someone were to say, okay, what is, like, American cinema? I would say Independence Day would have to be thrown out there as, like, here you go. It's, again, you could argue there's propaganda, maybe some points here and there in the movie. There might be, really, incredible speeches, maybe a little up its own ass at certain points, but goddamn, are you going to get a spectacle of it?
Yeah.
You are going to get the spectacle of spectacles. That's the word I would use that really, to me, makes this movie so great, is it is a spectacle. I mean, come on, like, Will Smith punching the shit out of an
Welcome to Earth.
Like, you're not going to get that, like, in fucking some movie from...
German expressionist cinema.
Yeah, you're not going to... Like, again, won't be at Cannes, but goddamn will it be in Cannes, Idaho. Just fucking killing it with, like, the local collards there.
That's my final word on this movie. Yeehaw.
Yep, yeehaw. Today we celebrate our Independence Day.
Happy 4th of July, y'all.
Happy 4th.
Goodbye.
Peace out.